Your initial reaction to the title might be, why are you working so much? 44 hours is way too much. And while I agree, I see this work-heavy period of my life as a means to an end. I know I won't be doing this for much longer. I want to have enough resources and stability to be able to put my all into my dreams, my ideas and my creations, because quite frankly, I wasn't impressed with the stagnancy of prior years, and I had this realization as I turned 25 last year. Also, everyone is in debt, and only this year I was made aware of that. Although the amount and the severity of it is relative to each individual, I decided I want mine completely gone, and I had to be honest with myself about how debt and the feelings associated with it weigh heavily on my subconscious. I think it's so easy to be blasé about money in your 20s. I had quite a frivolous money mindset for my entire life, for a multitude of reasons, but I feel called to be more intentional about my finances, and the first step to that is clearing my debt by fully utilizing the skills and resources I already possess. I've been qualified as a swimming teacher since 2016, and I've decided to fully lean into this skilled job with an above average hourly rate. Increasing your workload inevitably affects you emotionally, spiritually, physically, and psychologically. So in today's video, we are going to be exploring a typical 44-hour work week in my life and how I balance it all. Throughout this time period, I've had to start utilizing my mornings. I wake up at 5 a.m, get ready for the day, and by 6:45 a.m, I'm editing or doing something content related. I give myself the task of 45 minutes of editing every weekday before work. Mainly because I'm at my best in the morning and there's also no other chunk of time for me to be able to get into a proper workflow. I also see this as showing up for myself and committing to the visions and goals I have for my life. I feel like showing up for myself in this way has really built my self-esteem and trust with myself. As people, we don't realize how often we abandon ourselves for the sake of others. How many times have you made a plan for your day and allowed someone else's request to completely derail the intentions you set for that day? It's all too common, and to me, it just means you don't have a strong enough framework and boundaries. As you build your framework for your life, whether it consists of an intensive gym routine, content creation, or devoting your time to learning a skill, you'll begin to easily identify those people who don't have a definitive framework. Typically, these individuals don't hold their own time in high regard and in turn will not value your time. Anyone who believes that frameworks don't exist or that they don't need one are delusional. Exhaustion is even an understatement. I can't remember the last time I got 8 hours of sleep. For the last 2 weeks, it's been 6 hours. Every day I get up at 5 a.m. and it makes me more productive, but I'm very, very tired. 3 deep breaths. I'm tired, but I'm fired up. As Sinead Aiko would say. At this point in my life, even in my brain, when I'm tired, my commitment to the cause overrides that. I don't get up because I'm well rested. I get up because my alarm's going off. I just stand up, and before I can even think, I just get in the shower and get on with it. There's a difference between motivation and commitment. If you're committed to something, you have to follow through, not just do things when you're motivated. And so I'm glad I'm actually at that point, because I feel like there was points in my past where I would not be able to commit to things. The way I see it is, you either adopt and shape your own framework for life, or a framework is selected and given to you. This is the current framework I'm operating within, but I have had to expand beyond it to include working on my creative projects outside of working hours and any other desires I have for myself. I used to really resent having to work for a company, but over the years, I've been able to appreciate the stability, interpersonal skills, and life experience that come with having a job. I don't suffer with the Monday morning blues or the Sunday scaries like everyone else does, because I have been working every day for a couple of months now. My body and brain goes into autopilot mode, where each of my daily tasks and actions flow seamlessly into the next until my day is done and I'm winding down for bed again. Of course, I experience exhaustion, and some days are harder than others. Even the other day, I found myself bursting into tears while receiving feedback from a colleague. I'm glad I'm self-aware enough to know the root cause of my tears were fatigue, general overwhelm, and the fact my period was due to begin that week. I'm totally aware that the leisure industry works differently to other industries. There's some days I have 2-hour breaks and my swimming lessons don't extend beyond a 4-hour block. So in my freer time, I make a point of being alone to clear my head and find some balance. While other people may love to gossip on their lunch break with their colleagues, I avoid the staff room and resort to eating my lunch in the cafe or sitting in the park when the weather permits. Recently, I've been enjoying eating my lunch in the park alone. I know they always say how grounding the earth is, but being surrounded by trees, vibrant grass, and basking in the sunshine while listening to the hum of insects and distant conversation truly is the reset I need in the middle of a busy day. Generally speaking, people view summer as the optimum time for relaxation. However, in my current reality, where my time and money is directly correlated to my work output, I think spring and summertime is the best time for me to work for a number of reasons. Number one, it's so much warmer, which makes being in the water multiple times a week feel more refreshing. During the winter months, my colleagues and I are attempting to teach on the poolside as much as possible. Number two, it's lighter and brighter. The sun rises earlier, so when I have to be awake in the early hours, I feel supported by Mother Nature. In addition to that, swim school is less busy and therefore less intense because families are taking holidays or just choosing to go to the park instead of come to their swimming lessons, which works for me either way. I only realized these factors from working in this industry for years, and I believe aligning my energies in that way is helping me financially and mentally. I'm sure there are easier times of work in your industry also, and I would encourage you to play towards those. Swap a summer vacation for an autumn break, perhaps? I find the most balance and peace in a degree of security that comes from knowing what to expect in my week ahead. I love writing out my calendar for the week and the month ahead. To some, it may seem tedious and insignificant, but writing and drawing is a form of therapy for me. I like going back to basics of pen and paper, especially when everything is so heavily digitalized. Of course, technology has its place in my life because I use my phone and laptop every single day, but there's something so grounding about doing things by hand. What planning has made me aware of is how to better prioritize and allocate my time. In my current 44-hour work week, time is limited. And so I'm more selective about what I give my attention to. My lifestyle has changed to fit my schedule accordingly. I had been so obsessed with trying to factor in equal amounts of work and socializing in the past, believing I could make equal amounts of progress on both, only to find that both results were mediocre. You have to realize your bandwidth and priorities. I had to ask myself what I want more right now, being debt-free or having a thriving social life. And since I can't recall the last party or event I went to, I'm sure you can guess which option I chose. At first, this might sound sad, unfair, or too restrictive. In past years, I chose socializing and fun, which was fleeting, and I was always left with more money and mental problems when I would cancel a shift to go to a drink up or spend on new shoes instead of paying my creditors. As the saying goes, you can have everything you want, but not all at once. This rings true for me this year. I'm turning 26 in a matter of months, and I'm quite proud of how my perspective and mindset has shifted to more responsible and accountable. It's not about condemning the past choices of Adrienne. It's about allowing myself to create new and unfamiliar ones.
44 hours a week, I would have never done that in the past. And because of that, it's really easy to fall into the habit of not doing the practices that will help you in the long run, like the yoga, the journaling. I'm someone who needs to dump everything from my head onto a page. And especially this week, so many different things have been irritating me at work. And I go to journal and then I'm like, oh, I need to get up at 5 a.m. and it's 10 o'clock and I would rather sleep than journal. So that's what I'm going to do before I go to work today, because I am going to work today. And I was up at 5 a.m. and I don't even know how I do it. Guys, I used to not be able to get up before 8 just last year, and now I get up at 5 pretty much every day. But I guess necessity breeds ability or creativity, however the saying goes. But that's why I could feel there was like an energy from when I turned 25 that was kind of forcing me to take responsibility and would allow me to facilitate more work. So I have to take advantage of it and just go all in, because once it's done, and then I'll be on to another era and my energy will be more naturally directed to somewhere else.
If there's one thing I have had to learn, is that rest and restoration is a vital part of the creative process. But because I've been on a roll with work and following my schedule, I got into a dirty habit of skipping it. I've been going weeks without journaling, and if an opportunity to go out comes up, I've been hesitant. I've come to realize about myself, I can be quite extreme. There's not really a middle ground for me. If I'm working, I'm working. If I'm playing, I'm playing. This is where finding balance comes in. Recently, I've been reminding myself to extend endless amounts of self-love and grace to myself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's okay to set aside time to spend time with myself and be with loved ones and feel good about myself. As I said before, I've been holding myself accountable in terms of work and sticking to my commitments, and I think even the thought of fun or anything other than work can feel like a threat when you're locked into a grind mode. But I also see this as a challenge to see how committed I am to the things I want for myself. I want to be able to maintain my beliefs and practices even when things around me shift, because change is the only constant in life. It can be challenging at times to find balance and feelings of goodness in my arduous 44-hour work week. However, I keep at the forefront of my mind the fact that it's only temporary, and I'll look back on this time and be really proud of myself for the financial progress that I've made. I know everyone approaches various aspects of their lives very differently, whether it be finances, family, friendship, or fun. What we should remind ourselves is that it's okay to have different approaches and perspectives and to continue to view ourselves through the eyes of love.